Hello and welcome to Soul-Voyance. I am Psychic Selina, and today we are going to be doing Elon Musk's astrology birth chart. So I'm going to do an overview of his birth chart. I'm looking at it now. I'm going to go through his houses and tell you the psychological profiling of him and how this relates to all the planets and stars at the time of his birth. So he has a Cancerian sun. He also has his ascendant, that's his rising sign, in Cancer. And this is all the first house, the house of identity. So he is someone that wants to voice his opinions. He has Mercury right on his ascendant. It conjuncts his ascendant. So he's a very good communicator. He's not scared of expressing his thoughts and opinions. And these can be done in a very passionate way about world events. Like he cares about lots and lots of different world events here with that Cancerian energy. He could also be a little bit reclusive sometimes in his private life, like a hermit crab, because he's a double Cancer. So he's got this reclusive tendency to go into his shell. You never really get to know him as a person. He's very much about talking about world events, his viewpoints, but personally, he doesn't talk about his personal feelings or situations. He can be very private, a very private person. He's got a nurturing quality to him. So you see this with all of his children. He's got lots of children. So he's got a very paternal, nurturing energy, but there's also a slight childlike energy with this double Cancer and Mercury in the first house. It's got a slight childlike, playful energy almost. Like he loves new gadgets. He loves almost like new toys, just wants to play with all these gadgets and experiment. And there's like a real inner child joyful energy there with that, when it comes to sort of technology and communication as well. Going into his second house, he's actually got his south node. I will come into the north node later. His south node was in Leo, and that was also in the first house. And that I will go into the north and south node soon. His second house, which is the house of finances and money and material wealth and how you make your money. This is amazing. He's got it in Virgo with a Leo cusp. He also has fortune conjunct the moon in this house. Now, when I see fortune, this is a asteroid. This means somebody that makes a lot of money, a lot of wealth, and a lot of luck in money. Conjunct the moon, it means he follows his intuition. He may have a very practical approach to things. He's very methodical. He's the way he makes money. He's obviously the richest man in the world, and you can see this with fortune conjunct moon in Virgo. Virgo is all about the routines and structure. He's a natural teacher as well with Virgo. It has business aspects, business qualities, but also with the programming, computer programming, following systems, patterns, programs, processes. Everything is like in a structure with Virgo. So he makes his money through technology, programming, binary codes, numbers, mathematics, equations, all of that kind of aspect of things, especially with the computer technology, is very much in Virgo. With Leo, he's a public speaker. He's on a stage, he's on a platform, he's imparting knowledge about his technology to the world. So I would say this is somebody that is very powerful, makes a lot of money, knows how to talk to the public, to get them to sell his ideas to the public, sell his technology to a lot of people, to a lot of businesses, a natural teacher, and possibly it's slightly intuitive with the moon there, intuitive in business, intuitive in where to invest money, what technology will work, what ideas will work, what won't. This is a business genius from this placement that I can see. It is also got aspects positive aspects to Saturn in the 11th house. So this is about social groups. He can really sell his ideas to massive social groups on the world stage, and he's not scared of people. He's not scared of what people think of him. Going into the third house, communication, he has Lilith and Pluto conjunct with Uranus. He is very much a renegade. He does his own thing. He doesn't follow suit with everyone else. He has his own ideas. There is an interest in esoteric or things that are slightly hidden. So this could be or controversial with Lilith and Pluto. So this is all the AI. This is how he communicates. So this is the AI, transhumans, robots, all that communication with that. And you can see it with Aquarius there, conjunct Lilith in Libra. Aquarius is all about things that are quirky, things that are offbeat, things that are unusual. So he's fascinated by all of this kind of thing, and it can have a controversial connotation. He likes to lead with Libra, but he also likes harmony. So he likes balance within his communication. If he's communicating with someone, it has to be in a very balanced way. If he feels things are not balanced, he backs off from a situation, but a very strong interest in things that are really unusual, like, as I said, the AI, the transhuman, like innovative things that go under the surface. They can be controversial. They can have Plutonian aspects. So Pluto ruled by Scorpio. So it has the Scorpio link. So it's all about things that are almost taboo or really like almost psychological, like he can go really into the mind. And this is all the microchips with the brain, really goes into the mind, the human mind, and looks at the darker side of the mind, also the lighter side of the mind, like what can the mind do? How can we push people forward with robots, with AI? It's very controversial, and I can see it there with this placement with Lilith conjunct Pluto and Lilith conjunct Uranus in the third house. And this is just an overview of, I could go deeper, but this is the overview. Going into the fourth house, this is the house of the mother, the home, the house, the family. He's got Scorpio here, so he's very, very protective of his family. He's very much the leader, like a scorpion with a sting, very protecting all of his family. He's got a very protective energy with his mother as well, and a good connection with his mother, very close connection with his mother as well. Likes to protect all his home, his assets. He might have high security systems, high tech systems with this placement. And just overall, very vigilant person, security, doesn't trust people easily, doesn't really allow a lot of people into his home, doesn't really entertain a lot of guests. He's more selective with friends. He doesn't trust people easily to bring people into his home. He doesn't tend to mix his home life with his private life here with this Scorpio energy. Going into the fifth house, this is the house of children, joy, creativity, romance. He's got Jupiter here conjunct Neptune. So it's the main house is Sagittarius, but the Jupiter is in Scorpio. So he loves his children here. He's very protective with his children. He has a lot of luck with his children. His children are his life. They're his luck. They're his happiness. They're his joy, basically, with this. He's very, very intuitive, and he has a playful side. He has that inner child, which I saw before. He can connect with his children, playfulness, play with them, maybe go traveling with them a lot with the Sagittarius energy, teaching them his work, his philosophies, his ideas, his technology. With the Sagittarius, that's the teacher. So he's teaching his kids. They interact and they integrate into his world of work. His children are his joy and they're his life, basically. Again, he has Neptune opposite Saturn, and that falls in the Gemini So that is, again, very protective over his family, but he can be very strict with the Saturn opposition. He can be very strict with his children. He has set ways, set rules. He makes rules with them. He doesn't like them to break the rules. He wants to bring them up in so they're good, well-rounded human beings. He doesn't like them using bad language. He doesn't like them not doing their homework. He doesn't like them missing school. There's a lot of rules there to protect them. Going into the sixth house, this is his routines, his timetable, his health. Physical health can be in the sixth house as well. This is Sagittarius to Capricorn. He's got a very strong physical constitution. He's very sporty, very athletic. He'll be a taller than average height, which he is with the Sagittarius. The Capricorn gives him a lot of physical strength. Very hardworking, can work a lot of hours, possibly a workaholic with the Capricorn there. Going into the seventh house, house of partnerships and marriage and relationships and love and all of that. We've got the North Node in Aquarius in the seventh house. His South Node is in Leo. So if they've had a South Node in Leo, he's been royalty or he's been in a very high position of power, possibly when I tune in a Roman emperor or something like that in a past life. In this life, he is all about technology and leading through his technology with Aquarius there, with the North Node. That is his destiny. So to lead in a different way. He picks partners that have Aquarius traits, so very quirky, unusual looking women. He may find it hard to settle with one woman with Aquarius because he can be a bit aloof sometimes. Maybe he can be detached. He's not always emotionally attaching. He can struggle with emotional attachments in the marriages. He's had quite a few marriages, and they're quirky women. They're unusual women. They look unusual. They have unusual hairstyles and dress sense with the Aquarius. They're also something very public about his relationships with the North Node in the seventh house. So it's like he shares a stage with them, so it may be appearing on red carpets, events, etc. Going into his eighth house, this is house of sex, death, rebirth, transformation, and taxes. Got Pisces here, and then the Mars is in Aquarius. So Mars, he can definitely transform himself. He is a complete chameleon. He can adapt his environment. He can transform. He's an alchemist. He literally can take lead and make it into gold here. Pisces, he may have a psychic ability. I saw that with the moon then, the second house with fortune. He may have a psychic or a very strong intuition. He can forecast and prophesize and see things coming, especially with business. He's a really good psychologist, this man. He can work someone out in 5 seconds with Pisces in the eighth house. Coming into the ninth house, this is Aries. Now, this is interesting because it's got Chiron in it. So this is about his teaching, his leadership, but also travel, lots of travel, philosophies, spiritual or ancient studies. He's really interested in this. There's a wound here. Chiron is about the wounded healer. So his wound is in Aries. It's to do with his sort of inner self. He's trying to find his own spirituality. He's trying to find himself actually in life. In this life, his destiny is to find himself, who he is. He has a wound here, and with Aries, that's the warrior. So he is trying to make himself, more validate himself, basically, especially if he was an emperor in a past life. He is here to validate. This can also mean wounds with the father as well, with Aries, because maybe this is why he has had slight disconnection, estrangement with his biological father. there's a wound here with that. So he has to learn in this life how to validate himself and not need the validation of his father. I feel his father was very critical with him when he was growing up. Despite Elon being really clever and a genius, his father was still critical. So this is a wound he tries to heal by exploring different philosophies, different cultures, different spiritual ideologies. I wouldn't say he's religious, but I would say Elon is someone that is really open to the universe and very much a scientist mind. And coming into the 10th house, this is our vocation and our career. He's got Taurus here. So this is about Venetian energy, the bull as well, talking. So it's the throat chakra, public speaking, a leader as well. The midheavens in Aries, though. So I look for his vocation will be Aries, which is a warrior type, kind of leader, very sporty. His career is about public speaking and very much leading, very competitive in business. But he's got a lot of Taurus, so that's the public speaking, a very practical person, that kind of thing. And the 10th house is also the house of the father there as well. So it could be that he had to speak up to his father, stand up to himself, stand up for himself. Going into the 11th house is the house of social groups. We've got Saturn and Venus in Gemini. So Venus is in Gemini. So this is how he loves in romance, in relationships, the type of partner he will go for. It will usually be a younger looking woman or someone younger than him with Gemini energy. It'll be a meeting of minds as well with that air. Communication energy is very important. Social groups have to be a meeting of minds. With Saturn, he can find it difficult in social groups. He can find it where he can be amongst social situations, but he can have backlashes, people not always agreeing with him. He can get conflicts within it. He has always struggled to fit in within social groups. So we can see this. But with relationships, he tends to find a meeting of the minds is important. Coming into finally the 12th house, which is the unconscious mind, he has this in Cancer and Gemini. So with the Cancer energy and the sun is also in his 12th house, he has a deep intuition. He can really go into himself and he can question himself. He can be hard on himself in his subconscious. He always bounces back though, but life can be challenging. It throws a lot of challenges for him, but he always bounces back. And when this happens, he kind of goes into himself like a hermit crab, as I said before, and he can really close down socially with people, and he can cut people off really easily. And then he bounces back and tries something new. So this you can see here. So this is Elon Musk's birth chart. And if you would like to book a birth chart reading with me, just visit my website to book. The link is under this video. Sending you many blessings. Bye for now.